Hey guys, good morning. My voice is a little better. I'm excited about that. Today we are in chapter 32, and we're going to be going over just 2 verses today. And I know that seems kind of tiny compared to what we've been doing, but this is a set. This is setting up this next chapter. So the subtitle, the title of this chapter, I'm sorry, my voice is real squeaky, but the title is Jacob Returns Home. And the subtitle is Angels Meet Jacob. So verse 1, Jacob starts on his way again. Angels of God came to meet him. When Jacob saw them, he exclaimed, "This is God's camp." So he named the place Mahamalah. I know I pronounced that wrong. But we're seeing here that Jacob is knowing God is with him. God is there. This is God's place, not mine. This is God's. And sometimes we forget that. God is the creator God, so he's created everything. Everything we see, everything we don't see, like atoms and all that stuff, micro stuff. I don't know quite about that, but he's created all of it. And sometimes we say, this is ours. We own this land. We own this world. And God gives us guardianship of it. We saw that in the beginning of Genesis. But it's not ours, it's his. You know, this reminds me of my house. Because God gave it to us. God gave it to me and my kids. And sometimes I forget that. Sometimes I say this is my house. And it is. I live here. But ultimately, this is God's house. And in God's house, we need to have fellowship. And we need to proclaim the glory of God. And that's what Jacob is doing here by naming things. When you name something in the Bible, it's really important. We see this over and over again. God renames people. Names mean something. And when someone names something in the Bible, we have to pay attention to it. Because that's what's showing us what they think. And when Jacob says this is God's camp, he's naming it. He's saying it belongs to God. We see it even in the garden. Adam names the animals. Adam names the plants. He names these things. When we give it a name, we give it a purpose. Just like when we give our kids a name, we give them a purpose in a way. When we use our words to say things, we're giving something, whether it is good, the purpose we're giving it is good, or the purpose we're giving it is bad. We give it a purpose. And this is what Jacob is doing. He's giving this place a purpose, a name. My name, Anastasia, means the one who shall rise again, or the resurrected, depending on which translation you look at. And to be honest with you, I've never really liked it. I've liked the meaning of my name, but I've never liked the name because it's also associated with other things. The evil stepsisters in Cinderella, Princess Anastasia. I mean, there's so many things that my name is related to. But God gave me a purpose in giving me the name Anastasia. He gave me a purpose. He showed me that I will rise again with his strength. I will get through the circumstances that I'm in. I will get through those moments. Even if it looks impossible, even if I feel like I'm drowning and there's no way out. God gave me a purpose by naming me Anastasia. I really do believe that God puts the names of our kids in our hearts for a reason. God names us. We just use our verbal abilities to say the name. My kids have names. My kids' names have meanings, and I've always loved meanings and names, even before I started reading the Bible and before I came to God, because I knew it gave me a purpose. And the purpose was I wasn't going to give up. I wasn't going to give up no matter what the circumstance was, even in that moment that I wanted to give up. So Jacob here is saying, I'm giving it a name. I'm giving this place a name. And we see it over and over again. We see it with the pile of stones, the monument. It's a name. They gave it a name, the watchtower. They gave it a name, the witness pile. Over and over again, we see giving it a name, giving it a purpose. So what is your purpose? What is your name? What is the name God gave you? Because above all, above the names that God has given us completely, our individual names, we have one name that is more important than anything. That name is the child of God. And you might be sitting there saying, well, that's not a name, but it is. God's children. That is the most important name that we could ever have. That is the most important purpose we could ever have. And in having that name, in having that purpose, we need to go out and we need to spread that and tell people, hey, guess what? That's your name too. So I don't know the meaning of your name, and I don't know if you know the meaning of your name. And sometimes the meaning of names sound bad, like Jacob. Jacob's name is trickster. Like, let's just talk about that for a sec. That's what Jacob's name means, is trickster. Why? Why? Because that's the beginning of Jacob's story. And I'm not saying that the beginning of my story is good. It's not. But what I'm saying is God can rename us. God gives us the ultimate name. God changes Jacob's name eventually to Israel. God changes Abraham's name from Abram to Abraham. Sarah, same thing. He does this because he knows we need a purpose. He has a purpose for us. And sometimes that purpose is blatantly clear. And sometimes that purpose is scary at first, but we have to understand that that's our purpose. And in having that purpose, in having that ability, God is going to give us the strength to do it. And it may seem impossible, but we serve the God of impossibilities. The Creator God, the Sovereign God, the Yahweh God who is personally with us. We serve Him. We serve the Lord Jesus Christ. And in that, we have a purpose. Jesus also tells us we have another name. Friend. Jesus calls us friend. And again, you might be sitting there saying, that's not a name. But it is. He renames us. From lost to friend. From death to life. So what is your name? What is the name you were given? And what do you feel like your purpose is? And where are you sitting there saying this is mine when it's not, it's God's? And where can that release you from the chains that you're dealing with? It seems complicated sometimes, and I get that. It seems like, how are we getting all this out of just these two verses? But it's there. We just have to look. We have to open our eyes and see. So I hope today you see God's promise all around you. And I hope today you see Jesus in everything you do. And I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.